Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Calumet Public School District 132 Board Meeting, August 15th. John?
Yes. Time 6 o'clock. Brown, absent. Dixon,
Yes.
Golar, absent. Kimbrough,
Yes.
Love,
Here.
Story,
Here.
Harris.
Yes, here. The pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of agenda. Suggested motion be it hereby moved that the Board of Education approve the agenda for the August 2024 regular session as presented. May I have a motion? Motion by Ms. Dixon,
Second.
second by Ms. Story. John, roll call.
Yes. Brown, absent. Dixon,
Yes.
Golar, absent. Kimbrough,
Yes.
Love,
Yes.
Story, Harris.
Yes,
Motion carried.
thank you. Superintendent?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, just a little low. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen,
Good evening.
community. Tonight for our superintendent's report, we will have Mr. Corley to give us a facilities update. And then we will have Ms. Bates, our Executive Director of Academic Services, to give us a district-wide instructional goals for the year. Before they come, I'd just like to say we opened school this week for our teachers and our students. I shared information with the board on yesterday. We had more than 95% of the students who are registered to be in attendance in school. So that's a huge kudos to our staff for their diligent work of making sure we got our students here. Teacher Institute Day on Monday and Tuesday was outstanding. Thank you to all of the administrators from the buildings who worked really diligently to put that on. Thank you to Board Member Harris, Dixon, and Ms. Love for being a part of our Institute Day, as well as being at the school on the first day. Mr. Corley.
Good afternoon, well, good evening, board. Just a quick update on facility projects that we had going on this summer. I'll start with the science labs here. The science labs are complete. They were complete on time, ready for student occupancy on the first day of school. The students were very excited. They're like, well, what did they do to this room? I'm like, is it bad or is it good? They're like, what did they do? So I'm very excited to be able to be a part of, being able to provide a new experience for the students. So everything is fully functional in the room, goggle cabinets, sinks, new furniture. Everything is fully functional and the students are excited about it. And so are the teachers. Mr. Wilson and Ms. Conley, both, Mr. Wilson, 7th grade, Ms. Conley, 6th grade, were both excited about having new rooms to teach out of. Moving on to the Calumet Middle School Gymnasium Addition project. We are pretty much there. We are very, very excited about giving everybody a first look at our upcoming grand opening ceremony this coming Saturday at 10 a.m. We're looking forward to everybody being there. We are, every single area in the gymnasium is pretty much at, I would say, about 98% final completion, and that 2% is just making sure everything is, the final clean is done and everything is spick and span. But as far as equipment and everything is installed and ready to go. And you will get a chance to see that very, very shortly. For the people who hadn't had the chance to walk through yet. Even if you have been through, it's totally different from what you've seen when you walk through. It's not the same. So excited about that. Very proud to say that, I'm proud to say that I had a part in providing this for the community and especially for our students. And all of the buildings, just in general, overall, were all ready to go first day of school. Actually didn't get a lot of requests from teachers, can you do this and that. So that was exciting. That means that my team did a great job over the summer, making sure that everybody had what they need on day one, and that was the goal. And that's pretty much it.
The only thing I'll add to that report, Mr. Corley, I'm happy to announce to the board that we came in under budget for both the science lab project as well as the gym. So kudos to Mr. Corley, his leadership working with our architects, DLA. Henry Brothers has been an outstanding partner to work with. So in September, we will have a more comprehensive financial overview. But that was the goal that I gave them. That we needed to come in under budget and that we needed the building to be ready to roll in the first week of school. That was very difficult. Their initial timeline had us finishing sometime in mid-September. And I told them that wasn't acceptable. So kudos to the team. I'm really excited to walk through the doors on Saturday morning. And I'm really excited just to start utilizing the building for our students and community.
And like Alexander, it's great that we came under budget, but we didn't want to cut any corners either. So we'll check it out.
So when you come under budget, so part of the plan is 10% contingency. So your goal is not to blow your contingency. Now stuff happens every day, so you may have to dip into it, or things that happen that, unforeseeable, so you have to dip into it. But the goal is not to spend all of it. So you want to come. So no corners were cut. I think our architects did an outstanding job with the design and the quality of the materials. When you get in, you'll be impressed. It's not just your typical building. So I look forward to your responses to it. We have seen some things that we would like to make improvements to moving forward. When you see a design on a sheet of paper on a presentation, it means very little until you get in the building. And then you start talking about functionality and how does this work when kids go that way. So we do have a few things that we would like to look forward to in the future. But I am very satisfied with the product that we have.
Thank you.
Ms. Bates. That's right. That's right.
It's mine. Do you have the link? You gotta get a clicker? Oh. Okay, I'm challenged with this one.
As much as I do in presentations, the clicker and me just don't work well together, but we're gonna make this happen. Good evening, everyone. So we are first, it is such an honor for us to be at the brink of a brand new school year with a lot of incredible, wonderful things that are happening here in this district. I am very thankful for the work that's been put forth, and I'm sure as you hear more this year and see more this year of the work that's done instructionally, I hope that you will be as proud as we are, and as we put a lot of effort, a lot of commitment to this process. Okay. Our guiding principle. So I know you've had a chance to look over this, so okay, I'll do it. These are 5 pillars that are really important for us, but the most important thing for you to remember, this is what we're looking at throughout the year: the high standards of rigorous curriculum and powerful instruction, all the way down to sound fiscal operation and accountability system. My boss reminds me often about my spending opportunities or lack thereof to make sure that I'm in alignment to the resources that we have. Our system of support. We spent time recently, we being the principals and myself, training down in Bloomington, Illinois on MTSS to make sure that we're able to provide those special supports for not just our regular ed students, but for all of our students overall. And then engaging our family, and I apologize for kind of jumping around, but when I look at these, the priorities they're all there of importance, But this piece here I find to be most important, engage and empower our families. Without having our families involved, our children won't grow. It takes a community to get to make the progress. So thankfully with Ms. Washington, myself and others and Dr. Saverson, we have done a really great job of making sure and under Dr. Alexander's leadership to make sure that we are focusing more on empowering our families through our workshops, through communication. Mrs. Spars has done a wonderful job of making sure that our Hispanic community is not just a community, but they are part of this Calumet family. So there's still work to be done, but we are committed. We are committed in number 4 says for effective teachers and leaders and staff. I am extremely excited, and anybody who knows me know this is what I've been talking about. We have certified staff here at Calumet in our critical areas, and that's part of the hard work and the vision of just trying to make sure that as we enter the 2024-25 school year, that we have certified, well-trained staff and in math and in reading, and that's been significantly important for us as we move forward into this year. So as you look at our district-wide goals, from 23-24 and then to 24-25, you see there are yellow X's in the middle. We're still working on those goals, especially for the reading and math. We have not received our final data from our IAR assessments back in the spring. The ISB, Illinois State Board of Education, is still making some modifications, and we will present the final data to you soon. But the piece that I think is very encouraging is right down at the bottom. Decrease the number of out-of-school suspensions by 25% and decrease the number of out-of-school suspensions by 10%. We have spent a great deal of time on ongoing support with our students. One of the things that started when I came here 3 years ago, where we started using CHAMPS, provided our teachers with opportunities for small group instruction within their PLCs on classroom management. Secondly, we've done more, especially here at the middle school, restorative practices and PBIS. Those have been some critical pieces, but I also want to say what's been the critical piece within this whole spectrum is the commitment of the staff, the commitment of the leadership team to ensure that we do everything possible to keep our children here and to really dig deep to help them to be the best that they can be. Next steps. So as I mentioned, I am a proud person of this community, and I believe in what we've done. We're still working on things, as it says, to increase targeted professional learning. The past 2 years, we have had ongoing professional development to increase our teacher engagement and instruction, not just the mere instruction of the day, but what our students need now. Targeted intervention supports this year, another proud moment. We have supports, we have intervention supports that's going to take place that our teachers will now have someone to support them in this process. We review and refine our curriculum. We have new curriculum in all grade levels. And therefore, that means that we're still in this training mode. One of our latest curriculums that we bought last year is Amplified Science. Amplified Science was rated #1 in the United States for science curriculum, for hands-on science curriculum. And I am thankful that our staff decided that's what they wanted for themselves. So with that being said, we had to change the trajectory of what we used to do versus what needs to be done. And that has been excellent on behalf of our staff, especially here at the middle school. And it's even going to be better because we have certified staff. We're going to improve support for ELL and special education. Dr. Harris, myself, and I also want to just mention Dr. Saverson. We've been having ongoing communication, and what can we do to not only streamline that process, but make sure that our parents fully understand the services that are provided here, and hopefully they'll be able to better support us. So this year, along with our bilingual team, we're meeting together, we're having conversations, and that's going to be ongoing, so that what I share in my curriculum meetings will also be a rippling effect what's shared in bilingual, especially in our SPED departments. Utilizing our classroom libraries to create literacy-rich environments. The goal when I came here 3 years ago, from Dr. Alexander, that he wanted brand new classroom libraries in all of our elementary classrooms and our ELA classrooms. That happened. We now have brand new books. We have brand new diverse books, and I also want to say, not only do we have multiple copies in the classroom, we have multiple copies in the library. We have a digital collection, Myon, which has 5,000 titles, and so those 5,000 titles are for each of the preschools that's in this district. Additionally, we provided for our social studies teachers, our contact teachers here. They also have classroom libraries of focus-driven, social studies related, to ensure that we are in alignment to the Illinois Learning Standards. Technology to support reading instruction. All of our curriculum here in District 132 is a blended model, meaning it's not only book content, but it's an online content. So there is no way in the world that we can miss opportunity, because we have the resources and we have the talent to make that happen. We also have Lexia, Blue Street, and IXL, for example, to help us to address our differentiated learning needs. In regards to math, the continuous process, and this has been our goal last year and will continue to be this year, focusing on our math, focusing on what we need to do. And with that being said, we have an interventionist who is part-time. She's a retired teacher. She comes over here to Calumet. She started mid-year last year. Excited to be with us again this year. And so we're going to see change. It is going to be excellent change. We examined our assessment tools that align to IAR. We had originally looked at some other assessment tools. There's another assessment tool that we'll probably examine, because not all assessment tools today are aligned to the Illinois Readiness Assessment. And I said that wrong, Illinois Assessment of Readiness. Not all of our testing systems are aligned to what we do here in Illinois. One of the test companies that we looked at initially was iReady. There are other assessment tools that we're going to look at, because NWA does not align successfully to what IAR is asking our children to do. Incorporating algebra instruction for our accelerated students. We started that last year aggressively, and we're going to continue that momentum. Ms. Williams did an outstanding job. As you may recall, Ms. Williams was our only certified teacher in math. She not only taught seamlessly algebra, but she provided lesson support for all of our subs for grades 6 and 7, on top of teaching and planning for her lessons. So she did an outstanding job. And now that we have, again, certified staff, it's just gonna move up a little higher, like the Jeffersons. We're gonna move on up. So increasing professional development, again, that's something I've already mentioned. Unit tests are incorporated throughout the district. This year and last year was our first year using our own scope and sequence charts. This year, I can say without a shadow of a doubt, everybody has it in their hand and online for both social studies, science, reading, and math, all created by the staff here in Calumet School District 132. More instructional support during after-school tutorial. That is already in progress, and we're just tweaking a couple things to make sure that we are ready when we start our after-school program. All right, next steps. Student attendance and student behavior. Sometimes they go hand in hand. So daily monitoring of student attendance and tardies, that's the significant, because if your children aren't here, we can't make the progress. And if there's a behavior challenge, we can't make the progress. So we have to come up with ways to address those things, not only well, but be assertive and practical at the same time. So as I mentioned to you earlier, for the student behavior, we have in place restorative justice. We also use CHAMPS, the good classroom management system. We're also doing more monthly district-wide attendance, those team meetings, and we have time now, structured time, where our principals will meet directly within grades and also once a month, it's not after school, so early release day. Monthly student and school-wide incentives for positive attendance. You know, our children today are accustomed to being celebrated, and we want to celebrate them. We don't want them to, this is just a process. We want to celebrate the excellence in them coming to school, the excellence in their behavior. The home visits to address chronic truancy by attendance team, which will be an offshoot of our school improvement team. And then the parent contracts for chronic absences and tardies. That is a way for us to really monitor, not only monitor, but also to look at what we've done and why we've done it. So we'll be tracking and analyzing and keeping detailed notes of those conversations with those parents. And then the other piece on the SEL support for students and family, parent and staff training will be ongoing through our FACE events, and we'll also make sure that our parents have opportunities to have workshops during the morning, and we started doing that last year. So we have parent workshops in the mornings, and then we have the parent workshops in the evenings. So we're trying to make sure that we cover all our parents, not only on in person, but virtual as well. That's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Question real quick, I meant to stop you, but
Okay.
goal 3 with the attendance,
Mhm.
what was the overall average? Do we make that call? Cause it's at 90%?
So we're on the goals.
On the
District-wide
district-wide goals,
goals.
because they had an X on it, so increased overall, average daily attendance from 90.2% to 93%. Where were we? Do we have those numbers?
So I have to give you the exact numbers. We have made significant gains, but not to the level of not to the goal where we wanted to reach.
Okay.
And that is because of course, we've had some issues with logging systems. We had some issues with keeping up. So our record keeping has improved greatly, and in more accountability when we meet with Dr. Alexander on a monthly basis.
Are you using Skyward? This is Skyward system?
It's a Skyward system, but also depending on the notes that were provided by staff as well. So it's the same thing with any of our systems. It relies on people inputting the information on a consistent basis. Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
I know in the
Middle school, are you taking, I know you should be taking attendance in every class, but
Absolutely.
what get reported though? Is that when they go to their homeroom and then they put the attendance
We
there?
do attendance the first thing in the morning and throughout the day. But as I mentioned, when it comes to behavior and infractions and things of that nature, it could be on paper. We'll say we'll do it later, and sometimes those are missed. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You're welcome.
But don't go so fast.
Oh,
Just make sure you get the numbers, that's all.
absolutely,
So
absolutely.
the actual, the number is there on the board. The actual number is 90 that we hit.
You
Was
hit
this
the
a-
90.2?
No,
I got
it's, the actual number that we hit was 91.3.
Oh, the
So we made growth, we just didn't hit the target where we wanted to be.
Thank you.
And that's the same thing for reading and math as well. So that was one thing was basically we didn't do is explain the rubric. So a red X would have meant we didn't come anywhere near it. But the yellow X, we didn't meet the goal, but we made some progress. So we're in transit to it.
I apologize for that.
The goals are there on the,
Yes, ma'am.
So just 2 questions. So you've alluded to a new assessment tool or some checking of assessment tools. Can you talk about the process? And I'm hoping that we don't hear about it come May. But could you talk about how you're thinking about assessing assessment tools?
So let me just say, when you're selecting any kind of assessment tool, it's not something that you can do within a couple of weeks because it takes time. You might have to do a pilot run. You might have, and then also look at cost and the benefits of it for the district, our size. And that's the process. So we might have to do a pilot with one school to see, one classroom, a couple classrooms to see how effective is it, and based on what teacher input as well. Because oftentimes companies will sell you a myriad of things, but you don't need all that. We may only need a slice of that pie, not the whole pie. So that's why it says it's gonna take a moment, maybe easier, probably about 3 to 4 months, and then having to present that information back to you as a possibility of recommendation. So it is a process, it does take a moment, and I personally, as an assessment person, I never recommend anything that serious to be taken for granted as far as time. There needs to be a deep dive, there needs to be looking at the standards, because Illinois has their own standards, and then there are the Common Core standards. So the Common Core standards are one thing different than the Illinois Priority Standards. And then of course there's the NGSS standards, that's the science standards. So we have all those things to consider and what's in that system that's gonna help us. Does it have something that a teacher can use right away? Because that's another one of our things. We wanted to make sure that our teachers have some feedback that they can use immediately and not having to plan, that it's already there.
And then the other question is just about the improvements for English language learning and special ed. Can you just sort of cue up a few of the 2 or 3 highlights of?
Absolutely. So for both our ELL community and our SPED community, under SAVIS, which is our ELA reading series, we have spent time in training, special professional development training on the resources that SAVIS provides for us. So it's not an additional cost, it's already embedded in our curriculum. And it's the same thing for Envisions Mathematics, it's already embedded. And there are sections both online and in the book that we can use, that students can use at home as well as in school. For here in the middle school, for example, SAVIS came out last year and provided one-on-one training support to help to ensure that our middle school teachers understood, especially Mrs. Sparza, who's been working closely to make sure that all of our teachers who are supporting our bilingual students have the resources. So it's already embedded. We didn't have to buy a separate product, it's embedded into the curriculum that we have.
Thank you, Ms. Bates.
You're welcome.
Moving on to consent agenda items. Suggested motion be hereby moved that the Board of Education approve the consent agenda items A, B, C, and D as presented. May I have a motion?
Are we going, before we do this, to remove A, are we going to close section? Just to remove personnel items.
Yes, we're going into closed session, but you looked at A?
No, you said we went to close session. Could we just go into closed session for personnel items? A, that's it.
Okay. Tabling the personnel items. So it would be 6B, 6C, and 6D to vote on.
It's a quick question too. So I just wanted to make sure that the highlighting on the minutes is just it doesn't mean anything, right? There are some documents where you've highlighted, or at least on the copies that I had where the minutes had some highlighting, and I couldn't tell if you were referring, whether you're calling our
So
attention to
there's a
something.
motion on the floor.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Owens.
So yes, it is. So we can talk about that after. So we're tabling the A,
Correct.
the personnel. So now it's just a voting on the 6B, C, D.
Go ahead,
Motion is on the floor.
So
after
maybe
this.
we'll ask the question.
So 6B, C, D. May I have a
So
motion?
moved.
Moved by Ms. Brown, second.
Second.
Second by Ms. Dixon. Question.
Questions.
Go ahead, Ms.
And so
Brown.
that's what I'm trying to just, unless I missed it, it seemed
What?
that there was some highlighted areas on them.
John just stated that it's nothing.
I'll take a look at it, but that is, if there is anything highlighted, that's probably inside the software and not on the actual document. So I will show you the actual document once it's up for signature, but I'll look into that, but no, there's nothing highlighted or intended to be highlighted for anything in particular. So I'll look into that. That is purely unintentional, so
Okay.
I'll look into that.
Thanks, John. Ms. Love?
Yes, I have a question about the fund balance.
Okay.
Okay, you know, at the last meeting, we were talking about $52 for the staff, for the students' fee. And I was looking at what the kids have to bring for their school supplies and stuff. But at that meeting, I asked, what was the school fees used for? And I didn't really get an answer. I don't think we did get an answer as to what they're used for. But whenever I looked at it and I couldn't believe what I was seeing on this supply list, and then I said, well, if each student is paying $52 a year, and we have 900 students, that's $46,800 that we should have in our budget line someplace. And I have not seen it because it's not on this fund balance anyplace. So where is this money from last year and now it's gonna be this year? And some of these things, if you're paying $52, students shouldn't have to be buying paper towels and wet wipes and red ink pens and blocks of paper, since we are dealing basically with ditto sheets and the computer. That's basically what we're using for.
Oh.
And so my question is this year, are we gonna see this, because I'm just rounding it off to 900 students, are we gonna see this about $46,800 on this fund balance someplace?
Okay, Dr. Alexander.
I can respond to that. So the short answer is no. The fund balance report is a sum of everything in the fund. So nothing is itemized. So the fund balance takes over oversight view of everything in the fund. What you're speaking of specifically is the district budget. So it is listed in the district budget. You say it came up to $46,000. No, we will not see that amount. Majority of our students have fee waivers, which come from your free and reduced lunch status, our students who are McKinney-Vento. So they have waivers, so you will never receive 100% of the fund from activity fees.
So how much will we receive?
I can't give you that number off the top of my head, just because.
Well, how much did we receive last year?
We can get that number back to you as part of the
Yeah.
annual financial report. We can get that to you.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
So Dr. Alexander, the money that she's referring to, we do understand we're not getting 100%. However, all of this money is going into the student activity fund, or is it being dispersed across?
That the registration goes back to the district operating budget. That does not go to student activities. Student activity fund would be in the past when they had to pay the fee for after school, the fee for band, or the fee for gym. Registration goes back to the operating funds of the district.
Okay, thank you. John, roll call?
Yes. Brown,
Yes.
Dixon,
Yes.
Golar, absent, Kimbrough,
Yes.
Love,
Yes.
Story,
Yes.
Harris.
Yes,
Items B, C, and D carried.
correct. 7A, we're gonna table that. We'll table that. 7B. Approval,
No, 7A.
yes, 7A,
Right.
we're tabling that.
You're tabling that?
Yeah.
I thought you said it was tabling personnel.
Isn't that, that's different, I mean, because that's an action item.
Right, 7A is an action item. So that's the presentation that we have for Dr. Sabers.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
She wanted to table all of the hires
Correct.
and personnel.
Yeah. So Dr. Saberson, you are so beautiful tonight.
Okay, good evening, and thank you for this opportunity to share this presentation.
Good evening.
Okay, so this presentation is on a district-wide new teacher development and support program. So the state of Illinois requires that all school districts have a district mentoring program for brand new teachers, whether those teachers are, 10 years teaching or whether they're new to teaching altogether. So they're all districts require that teachers, new teachers are supported. So, this proposal is about an opportunity for our district to support our new teachers as they enter into our school district. So part of the structure of the support would include weekly check-ins with teachers and school administration. So this actually is a coaching program where the teachers would actually receive coaching from a coach 1 hour every other week, and that person would develop individualized improvement plans for each one of the teachers. So those teachers, again, if they needed, for example, if they needed help with management, there would be a program put together for them to be able to excel as it relates to management. If a teacher was struggling with, say for example, assessments, we know that students have to be assessed. So there would be a plan in place for that. And then there would be follow-up that would be provided after those coaching sessions. So some of the common areas that we know new staff members oftentimes have challenges with are areas such as management. Many new teachers struggle with management. Even if a teacher is new to a district and maybe has taught for 5 or 6 years someplace else, many times they struggle with management. So this support would provide support for teachers in the area of management. Classroom environment. When you go into a classroom, you assess a classroom environment. You going in, you're looking around, what do you see? What are the children doing? What is the teacher doing? Instructional strategies, instructional delivery. What is the instruction that's happening in that classroom? Is the teacher at the desk? What are the children doing? Are they engaged? I have been in some classes, and not in this district, but there was a teacher once just teaching away at the board, and the children were on the phones. The children were, doing all kinds of other things. Nobody was paying attention. The teacher was pretty much teaching to herself. So, these are things that our coach will be able to help us with. Another thing is questioning techniques. When children are being instructed, we want to look at what kind of questions the teachers are asking. Are they asking high-level questions? We want children to be able to analyze, create, and evaluate. Or are they asking just simple recall questions? So again, getting children to be able to problem solve. Are we differentiating instruction? That is another area that many of our teachers struggle. Many teachers believe that it's too complicated, it takes way too much time. So they kind of shy away from differentiated instruction. Another thing, formative instruction. One of the things we're focusing this year, and those of us that were in the meeting on Monday, formative instruction, assessments, making certain that our students are assessed along the way, making certain that they get the information. If they don't get it, then what do we do? So, in this program, there will be monthly personalized sessions as well as the bi-weekly coaching. So those personalized sessions include ongoing support and consistent skill development, opportunities for teachers to reflect on their practice. One of the things that is really good with teaching or with anything to do is self-reflecting, but it's even more powerful when you have a coach that is with you, and the coach may see something different. You may see something, a coach may be able to see something else and help support in that way. This program will provide timely intervention, so a teacher won't have to wait a month or 2 weeks. Teachers will get that support right away. And then creating a supporting environment for teachers. We know that when teachers are not supported, that is a problem. They want to leave. They don't want to be in teaching anymore. We have to support them. And when we support our teachers, it provides positive outcomes for all of our students. So the service provider is McReynolds Everidge, and this is a consulting company that provides services, coaching services to teachers and emerging leaders. So again, the services are tailored to meet the needs of the individual teachers. If I need help with assessments and you want to give me professional development or management, that's not the best use of my time and the district resource. So one of the powerful parts of this program is that the program is tailored, just like we do IEPs for children. This is like an IEP for the teachers to tailor a plan for that particular teacher and make certain that over time, you can look, so later on we'll talk about how many sessions, but if I'm in my first session, I may get help with something, then next week I may, it will be something else. At any rate, we'll be able to look back and track and see the progress that the teachers have made. Again, the personalized plans, the feedback, immediate feedback with the coaching, because that teacher and the coach are right there together, they can get that immediate feedback. If the teacher is teaching something and the coach is right there and the coach sees something and says, they may be able to offer suggestions right at that time to help that staff member. Sometimes it can be something really, really small and they can just kind of share that information or whatever, rather than waiting, for time, waiting a long time for a teacher to get that feedback. And again, using a goal-oriented approach to achieve specific professional goals. So the services provide 18 half days of coaching sessions to each teacher. So during those sessions, again, they are individualized sessions. So that coach will be in the classroom with that teacher for an hour, and they are working side by side with that teacher and, giving them tips as they go along. Again, when those plans are created for the teacher, it's the teacher and the coach working together to create those plans. I may think, I need help with assessments, but the coach may see something else and say, let's work on that, or situations like that. Additionally, there will be personalized plans for monthly training. So we know that with new teachers, many times there are some common areas. We talked about the management. Management is an issue, for many new teachers. So during those 6 sessions, we'll have the groups together and then, share strategies as it relates to what we can do to make those improvements. So the cost of the coaching sessions the half-day sessions add up to $10,800. The 6 personalized planning sessions for those 6 months is $7,200 with a total cost of $18,000. And then just a reminder, we give our teachers what we need. When we support them, they can do their best for students. And that all goes back to student achievement. If we want our students to achieve, we have to support our teachers, and that provides positive outcomes for our students.
Thank you. Ms. Love?
I have a question about the way the students are placed in the classrooms. Are they placed in there by test scores, or are they in a class and each year that class just travels to a new teacher? Because sometimes, well, not sometimes, a lot of times from my past experience, that whenever you keep students together and that class is always a behavior class and the teacher is always having a problem, it's best to break these children up where they're not all together every year and you see the same problems and you wonder, well, why are they not achieving? Why is Miss So-and-so's class always uproaring, up in an uproar? And it's not the teacher, it's the kids, the students that are in there. They need to be separated because like I said, from my past experience, when I had a bad classroom, I separated them because I did not want the next teacher to have that problem the whole year. So everybody got one of those kids that clown. And so hopefully if it was only one in the classroom, then they could manage that. And so it was always better to do that instead of just passing the whole class to the next teacher and you wonder, well, Miss So-and-so had him last year, now Miss Miller got him this year. What's wrong? Miss Miller, I thought she was all that. When it wasn't that. You can't do that anymore. I mean, you gotta do something new.
Dr. Alexander, here.
So you are correct. Our students are randomized. When I first got here, the students were placed in a cohort in kindergarten, and they moved through that cohort up to 8th grade. And they were homogeneously grouped, which basically means they were put together based on ability. So you had a classroom full of low students, a classroom full of students in the middle, and then a classroom full of high students. Well, that works in many cases, but my issue was that there was no systems and structure in the district to see, is this kid making progress? Kids don't always stay low. So are they making progress? Are we able to move them up to higher level classes? So because that system and structure was not in place, we moved away from it. And so all of our classes are randomized every year. Once the classes are randomized, we look at the rosters, and we may have to move some ones and twos just because of personality conflicts or behavior issues. But for the most part, every year they are randomized.
Ms. Campbell?
Yeah, all right, so, I think this is a really good plan. But in terms of what you just stated, sometimes when you're, stuck in a particular level, you stay there because you need to be able to be around students, yes. And so sometimes that, when your skill level is at a certain point, you rise sometimes too, and other students can help you as well. So my question is in terms of when the coaching will take place. So is that during the school day while the teacher's in the classroom with students? Is it after school? Is it before school? When does that coaching happen with between the teacher and the coach?
Okay, so the coach will actually be in the classroom with the teacher, working alongside the teacher. And so they will have time, they will, I mean, it's things like, just providing little tips as they're doing instruction. I can think of one example. I know from previous programs with coaching, there was a teacher having this really difficult time with transitioning the kids from one subject to the next. And so the coach just, it wasn't, taking over the class or anything like that. It was just like, can I show you a way that I can, let's get them lined up and get them to the next class. It was taking the teacher forever to move the kids from one thing to the other. And so the coach just lined the kids up and showed the teacher, not making a big deal or anything like that, just very quietly showed. And that teacher did that forever and made a difference in her class. So it's working side by side. And, just sometimes you can just see one little thing that can make a difference.
Yeah, I'm not finished, thank you. And so that is true. But there are also some very deep instructional practices that need to be discussed outside of the realm of students, right? Where the teacher really you can go through the day and talk about some of those things. That's one thing. And I find it to be very difficult to have those kind of deep conversations with students, around.
Absolutely.
And then another thing, a lot of times in terms of students misbehaving, that too gets into engagement, challenge, you engaging with students, them engaging with each other, that minimizes a lot of behavior as well. Okay, and one other thing,
Ms. Campbell?
Yes.
Can you jot that down? We wanna move to the Ms. Brown right quick, certain thing we wanna, so
If I can hear as well. So I'm gonna have my friend and family day conversation here.
no.
How are we? So I did do a little bit of trekking around who this person was, and she was liking your profile on LinkedIn a lot. But how did you come to this individual, and how is she qualified to do what we're asking her to do?
I can speak to that. I attended a superintendent training in North Berwyn School District, Berwyn North, or Northborough, and they were talking, it was about showcasing instructional practices in your district. And everybody's dealing with this teacher shortage issue. But what we don't talk about, we're all dealing with a teacher retention issue. And so one of the things that they talked about was how they created this ecosystem for teachers to learn and grow. And they used the example from the cartoon Magic School Bus. The teacher, Miss Frizzle, she said, take chances, get messy, and make mistakes. And so that was synonymous of you have to allow teachers a safe space to learn and grow. And so they had contracted with McReynolds Everidge Consulting, and they talked about all of these different things. So the embedded coaching, they do something when they all come together after school. So similar to what Ms. Kimbrough talked about, those tough conversations when you dive deep, they call it the hour of power. And I was really impressed because of the feedback that the teachers gave. And it was more like this is even better than our principals give, because our principals are not in our classroom for an hour, and they may not jump in and model a lesson, or I can't call the principal when I'm writing a lesson plan. And so I was really impressed by it. We've looked at other consultants, and as you know, we pick up consultants because of what we see. Not like we just go search the internet, but it's because of what we see is what's worked in other districts. So I was really impressed by what McReynolds Everett brought. And the thing that really impressed me was that it's not just one person, it's a whole team. So you have your content area people, you have your social emotional people, you have your behavior people. And that's even different than what we could offer the school. Usually your instructional coach is one-dimensional. If they're a literacy coach, that's all they focus on. And so I like the fact that we have access to a group of professionals. The president, McReynolds Everett, she's been principal, chief academic officer. She does consulting all over South Cook County with this same thing. So I think they're a highly qualified group. One of their consultants is the same person who did our family community engagement, Dr. Skanes. So Dr. Skanes has been with us a couple of years, and they do some of the family community engagement pieces. So I'm really excited, as Dr. Sabison said. We have a lot of new teachers this year. And aside from, teachers who've gone to school in America, who's worked in America, the issues that they have, now we have people who are coming in where we have to bridge a cultural gap. We have to bridge a knowledge gap. So it's going to be, we need more intensive support to make it happen.
Ms. Kimbrough. Oh, Ms. Love, I'm sorry, Ms. Love. You sure?
All right, thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Okay, so in terms of the monitoring, follow through piece, because it seems to be like goal oriented. So how would a teacher have a coaching session on like who's going back to monitor whether those things have been improved upon?
So that's the coach's role. That's the coach's role. So the coach, when they first start, they'll meet with the coach, the teacher, and the principal. They'll talk about goals and talk about expectations. And then from there, they create, so just like she said, an IEP, you create your plan. These are goals, these are benchmarks, here's the feedback. And because they're coming multiple times in a month, all right, next time I come here, I want to see this, we'll be looking forward.
Ms. Love, oh, no, Sherry.
So, who was responsible for the new teacher's mentor last year? I know we need it, we have to have it, and it's across Cook. But who's responsible for doing it? Do we have a consultant? Who's responsible?
No, so per the union contract, the union runs their new teacher mentorship program. However, their program is very different than what this is. This is taking it a step further. The union's program is run by teachers in the union. It's not a coaching model. They meet once a month, Dr. Sabison, once every month, after school for like an hour. And they talk about very high level topics. It's not specifically what is your practice. The union cannot work and create goals with the teacher and the principal. So this takes the onus away from, or responsibility away from a teacher telling another teacher what to do, more than the principal, the teacher, and the consultant coming up with the plan. So we still have the new teacher network, but again, their focus is not as heavily on classroom instruction and general practice as it is how do you get through the school year, compliance, here's what the evaluation system means, and this is how it impacts you and things of that nature.
So I think it's great, but like Ms. Kimbrough said, as far as the follow-up and the follow-through, I think that's the most important part. And then we fact check to see if anybody in the district can actually do this part as well, as opposed to hiring this network. Did we look into that as opposed to hiring her? Because I believe it's probably somebody in the district that can do this as well.
Well, so I can respond to that in this way. My philosophy of teacher coaching and evaluation is this. You have a coach and you have an evaluator. And that should be two different people. Your relationship with your evaluator is always going to be contentious because this person determines my livelihood. This person determines, do I come back next year? Your relationship with your coach is different. That's a person who I'm vulnerable with. That's a person who I can share my insecurities with. That's a person who I can learn from. So we didn't want to have an administrator in the district to do that. Of course, you can't have a teacher in the district to do it, but we didn't want to have any administrator in the district because if you're the principal AP of that building, you're their evaluator. So bringing in somebody from the outside, it creates a safe space. It's not evaluative. It's one of those things where the teacher, the coach, and the principal say, listen, this is something we really need to work on. Now, it may come from your evaluation. They say, hey, you're really struggling with classroom management. So now your coach can really dive deep with you. So I think it's important to have somebody who is not part of the organism. The other part of it is we receive money every year from our Title II grant, which is teacher quality. And that grant is created to develop teachers. So teachers going to conferences, teachers having coaches, embedded support, that's what it's designed for.
Ms. Love?
Okay, since the board is the one that approved all of these hiring, in the future, can we get whoever wants to be hired here, have them submit a presentation online? No, she did that. I'm talking about the people that we are hiring, so that we can see who we are hiring.
The proposals in your board packet.
I have the proposal. I'm talking about the person themselves. I like to see who I'm hiring, not the,
I think that the proposal should be in the board packet
they have pictures
with the motion, pictures of.
of the people who are.
Oh,
Are you asking
gonna-
Ms. Love that,
No,
that
the proposal.
the person that,
They don't do proposals.
I think you mean a
I'm not talking about
The
presentation.
teachers?
What I'm saying is this:
Oh, you mean the person that,
whoever comes in
oh,
here,
right.
I'm talking about, what I'm talking about is this. In the future, I hope that we meet the persons that we are gonna hire online. Everybody
Yeah.
that wants to get hired here, even the after-school people. I would like to see them before we hire them, and then we end up paying them all this money and stuff. And we don't even know the people.
Yeah.
We haven't even met them. You know, we might see them online later on, you know, on the computer, but they can do a presentation online,
So,
just so I can hear their voice, see what they're talking about.
Okay,
I
I understand what you're
It's
saying.
nothing worse than hiring a stranger and then you walk and don't even know them if they pass you.
yeah, that's true.
That's what I'm
That's
talking
true.
about.
That's true. That's
You
true.
don't know who's
So-
in your building whenever you're there.
So anybody, I mean, I agree with Ms. Love.
Everybody.
So anybody we hire as far as programs and whatnot, it would be nice to have them present. Yeah, so, yeah, do their own presentation.
They don't have to be here, just do a presentation online.
No, just might as well have it here.
Okay, well, whatever, make it easy.
We
because
have to
sometimes-
be careful.
Yeah, because
You
sometimes
have
we
to be
really
very
don't know.
careful when you, and my CSBO's not an attorney, you have to be very careful when you do that. When you're
Okay.
bringing in consultants and presentations, and you have to be very careful. So I understand what you're saying, but yes, we will figure out a way to make some kind of concession for that.
Okay.
And maybe if it's just so there wasn't a proposal in here. And so it forced me as a board member to go and have to look. And that's where I started to see the clicks. I saw this presentation. I
So,
didn't see the
and that's a oversight because there is a proposal, the full proposal, and I'm guessing it just didn't make it to the presentation. But every time we submit it's like the proposal they give us for services with the scope of it and everything else. So I apologize. I thought that was in there.
I have a quick question, one more. In terms of the monthly training sessions, would that be like after school with all teachers that they're
Yes, that's the after school part.
so
Yes.
will teachers have a stipend for staying after school?
Teachers do receive compensation for their activities.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. So, so 7 A, approval of new teacher network mentoring program services. Suggested motion, be it hereby moved that the Board of Education approve Ms. Dina McReynolds Edridge to provide coaching and professional development for the new teacher network mentoring program for the 2024-2025 school year in the amount of $18,000, even as presented. May I have a motion? It's not really hard to do a motion.
Motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Kimbrough. John, may I have a roll call?
Yes. Brown,
Pass.
Dixon,
Yes.
Golar, absent. Kimbrough,
Yes.
Love,
No, there's no proposal.
Story,
No.
Harris,
Yes.
Brown.
No.
You're saying no or?
Okay, moving on to 7B, approval of emergency campus security contract. Suggested motion, be it hereby moved that the Board of Education approves the emergency agreement with Benford Protection Group to provide campus monitoring and security services for the district at the anticipated cost of $175,056.48 for the 2024-2025 school year as presented. May I have a motion? May I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Love. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Story. Roll call, John. Oh, no, my bad. We good, right? Roll call, John.
Question.
Okay.
Question just to the attorney. Since we had a bid out already and now we coming back with this, I know it's an emergency because we do need security. Are we okay with hiring, because they was a part of the bid, BPG? You say yeah? Okay. Say it louder, give them the mic. So give them the mic. We have to hear the yes loud and on record.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. So it will nothing come back to us. We'll go to the, okay.
I also think you could probably approve this as a professional services exception to the bidding statute.
Thank you.
And thank you so much, Attorney Pacheco, okay? So may I have a roll call, John?
Yes. Brown,
Yes.
Dixon,
Yes.
Golar, absent. Kimbrough,
Yes.
Love,
Yes.
Story,
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you so much. Public comments. If you intend to, do you have any
Anyone, any comments? None?
Alright.
None? Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. If you intend to speak, please fill out completely a questions and comment form and present to the superintendent secretary at this time. The board will be prepared to address those comments related to the agenda within a reasonable time. However, the comment may be forwarded to the superintendent for an individual response. No other discussion or action will be taking place. Please remain seated until you are recognized by the board president. Every person intending to speak must come to the podium to state their comments. Please state your name, comments, and you'll be limited to 3 minutes.
One second.
I just have a question about this board member Golar. Is this person still on the board, or what's going on with that? That's my question.
New business?
FOIA update, we had no FOIA updates or FOIAs.
Thank you. Policies, first read, Press Plus, issue number 115. So that's just for the first read. It's not due. We can add that on our committee of the whole, have that fully discussion if there are any discussions. What's that have you? And adoption is in September. So we have to have it done by September.
So I do ask that we have some discussion, if not here, at least before the next time it comes up for vote.
Oh, yeah. So,
In term, is that the Press Plus, right?
Yeah.
116,
115,
115?
yes. 116 just came out. That's
Yeah.
not even close.
Yeah,
That's
but,
not
but,
even.
yeah, but
But 116,
That's not, 116 just came out, and it's not due until December 30th.
December,
so we
yeah.
got plenty of time for that one.
Okay, but I watched the webinar today and it would, Attorney Pacheco be available when we go through 116 because they suggested that the attorney be present during the discussion of 116.
And what reason be? I'm curious.
There is one policy on there, and I forget which one it is, but with that policy, there might even be an extension on the deadline for that policy because of the law that goes along with it. I'm sure you guys will be. Yeah, it just came out. So so Press Plus did inform everyone or whoever their newsletters, distributed to, that there is one policy that's, you'll see it, Chris, I am sure you will. But I don't remember the policy number, but because of it, I know what Ms. Kimbrough's talking about. There is one that's gonna be up and it's a pretty serious one, so. This is 115, she's
She's
mentioned
talking about
116.
116.
I'm happy with
Thank you. Letter C. So I know that last year, Ms. Story, you were the delegate. So I'm kind of opening it up to if we want to have someone to designate themselves to be the delegate this year for the III conference. You want to do?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Come on, John. I don't want nobody else. Come on. So we can take a vote. Okay.
Nominate Sherry Story.
Okay, Ms. Story, you wanna be the delegate?
This year.
All right. So Ms. Story, you the delegate. Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Everybody's all right. Thumbs up. Okay. So that information is not ready right now. So for the delegate, for the voting. So I guess around the next
So
meeting.
it'll probably be around September or October, and as usual, we'll submit those, poll questions in the board, like a board update,
Yeah.
and then it'll be finally approved at a board meeting, probably in September, October. But it's usually said,
They having a meeting in October, so probably.
You may want to use your mic because I can't.
It's a meeting in October. So they probably gonna have all the information out in September. Cause the meeting is, I wanna say October 3rd.
okay.
We'll send it out.
Yeah, so we'll do the questionnaire with the poll and whoever, the selection, and then as usual, whatever is the majority decision on each question,
Yeah.
that will be submitted by Ms. Story, the delegate.
Okay. Thank you. Board reports. Anyone has a comment or anything? Go ahead, Ms. Love.
You know, at our last meeting, not the July meeting, but the one we had afterwards, what was that, about the budget and stuff? Okay, the whole meeting. And I was talking about the board should be getting more money this year because of the taxes. And you say, well, you may not, but I'm gonna tell you this right now. The school, because on my tax, it says, Calumet School District 132. Last year, 2022, my tax was $272.19. For 2023, is $787.57. This stuff went up to about $515.38. So if everybody is getting a tax increase, because my daughter's, her taxes are ridiculous. Her monthly payment on her house has doubled. She was at $700, now it's $1,400. And so this district should be getting some money with all these taxes going up. So don't say later on, well, we didn't get but this amount. I want the full amount. Noted.
So, Ms. Love, I sympathize with you. I understand the tax increase. Calumet Park took a 72% tax increase. However, that is currently at the Cook County Board for review. From what they are saying, and Chris maybe have some more information, they misassessed the property. Two, they're supposed to assess the property frequently, but they didn't. And so essentially you're paying back taxes and wrong taxes and all of that. So I think by the next bill, which comes out in February, I think, or it's due in February, the taxes will levelize. The reality is that even though the tax number goes up, that doesn't mean the district will see it all. You have to also remember that some people don't have the $500 increase to pay. So our tax collection rate, we worked with the treasurer yesterday, Dr. Gasbro and I, we're at about 70%. We were budgeting at 73%. But when we look at tax bills, it's about 70% of the people actually pay their taxes. And then now you have everybody going to the assessor's office to get exemptions and senior freezes. All of the businesses now they're saying, hey, I own this building, but you're saying it's worth $1 million, it's only worth $100,000. So they want tax rebates. Then after the taxes come up, you'll have individuals do tax appeals based on individual funds. You all took too much money for here, took too much money for that. So I do think that we will see a larger share, not necessarily that we will see a larger revenue to the district though. But we're watching it.
Yeah, that's all I want us to do is watch, because I know we're gonna get more money.
Anyone, Sherry?
Just in terms of that, what about like the TIFs? What are we paying back? I know we're a TIF district, so do we have to pay?
We're not a TIF.
We're not a TIF district?
No.
I thought that was years ago.
Yeah.
I know maybe Rickman said we was a TIF district.
Well, TIFs expire.
Okay.
They expire, but Calumet Park does not have any TIFs that include the school right now.
Ms. Brown?
I just want to say, Mr. Corley, kudos. I'm sorry, I'm going to miss your big party on Saturday, but hopefully I'll get a chance to see the gym, the logo.
Why you call him?
He's the man. He the man. But I'm sorry that I'm going to miss this fete. But congratulations to everybody, to staff. Congratulations. Hope this school year is full of excitement, but not the bad kind. And hopefully that the new staff is settling. I do, Dr. Alexander, it sounds like we had 7 new teachers, 10 to come, or we have 7 new individuals from another country who are here. I do hope we get a chance to get an update on how they are progressing and how our students are reacting to this new cadre of teachers.
I didn't get a chance. I was just asking a question. First, I want to say welcome back. I know to teachers, they're not here, but welcome back. I know you all feel some type of way when the teachers come back, and then yet the students. So I feel your, I'm not gonna say pain, but I feel your excitement. And with that being said, I just want to let the board know that I did attend. I heard someone from Pacheco's office about the new laws that's coming out. So maybe Dr. Alexander, we could get her, what was her name? Mary, yes. We could get her, we need to have her so the board can hear the new laws. They're very, very interesting to know. So maybe, we can set it up definitely, because that is good to know. And I know it was a copyright on there, Pacheco, so that's why I didn't print out the slides. So, because I was gonna pass it out to everybody. Oh, no. But at the same token, if we could get somebody in to discuss that with us, because that was very, very helpful of all the new slides. And also, that Title IX that they've been discussing? She had to discuss that also. So I think it's very, very important that the board would know that.
Thank you, definitely.
Thank you so much.
Ms. Dixon.
Okay. I just wanted to say, I thought Monday was very exciting, and you did an excellent job as whoever put it together for the Teachers Institution. And due to the fact that we have new teachers coming in from another place, I think that the mentoring would have been, the counseling would have been really good for them. Because they seem very excited, they do. And speaking on breaking the barriers, I think that would have been the coaching would have been a great thing for them to come in, to let them know what they need to do, what they don't need to do. So unfortunately we didn't get that, but again, hopefully we can move forward and they'd be okay with our district. That's all I have to say.
I did have the opportunity to be at the Teachers Institute, and it was phenomenal. Again, meeting the new teachers from another countries. Yes, they were very eager to be here, excited to be here. I'm looking forward to those students being able to be in classrooms and getting to understand and know other cultures, and also being able to understand from a different perspective of new teaching. I also wanted to say that I'm glad to see the teachers back. It was a fun whatever they were doing, and Ms. Love and myself and Ms. Dixon, we had the opportunity to be a part of with the teachers' little assignment or whatever. And let me just say this, the breakfast was nice, from Organic Life. Didn't realize that they could lay a spread out. I am quite sure the students is going to enjoy those, the fresh foods that are going to be cooked. And thank you to, I don't even know this young lady's name, Miss Natalie. You laid the spread out. I really appreciate your assistance there. Very good. And I also hope to enjoy the cookies as well.
Not cookies.
Yeah, we finally got some cookies. But yeah, and Dr. Alexander, thank you for facilitating the Institute Day for the Teachers. Mr. Corley, I want to say congratulations to you again, being a GPOP.
Yeah.
He's a new GPOP. He's a granddaddy.
Oh, the granddaddy.
Well, yes.
Congratulations, G.
That's the new
language.
The new language now, GPOP. But again, I appreciate your staff and all coming up to the up in school year. And I hope that our new teachers, and I hope the staff, all the staff, teachers, whatever, I hope that they're there for the ribbon cutting. It is so significant for our staff to be there. Dr. Alexander, I hope that the teachers are welcome to be there. They are, okay, for the ribbon cutting. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
I have one other question.
Yeah, it's love.
Dr. Alexander, what happened to the balloons? The balloons for opening day of school. You know, we always have a horseshoe-shaped balloon out there so that we can high-five the students. There was nothing out there. What happened? We didn't have the funds for it?
Did we have music?
We didn't have the music or anything.
First day of school activities are what the principal and the school, I don't direct that.
Okay, so it was the committee. Okay, it was the committee.
Yeah, it's what the school,
Here you go, Doc.
it's what the schools decide to do. We've had this conversation, I think, almost every year since I've been here.
No, last year we had the balloons.
Well, no, I was gonna go in a different direction.
Okay.
We've had this conversation every year since I've been here. And I've kind of gotten chewed out because we didn't have a DJ, a band, loud music. And I will just be the first to tell you that's not necessarily my personal best practice, right? I leave it up to principals, what you all decide to do. However, the first day of school is chaotic. Music makes it chaotic. All of the fanfare makes it chaotic. And so we look for ways to welcome the students, welcome the parents. However, I think they just know me and they don't go all crazy. Not sure about the balloons. Actually, the balloons were Ms. Brown's idea. So she's no longer at this school, so that's probably why you didn't see it.
Did you have it at the other school?
No, no.
Okay, there you go.
We just look forward to it next year.
Next year, then we
Next
have.
year. So moving into closed session, be it hereby moved that the Board of Education go into the closed session for the discussion pursuant to section 2C3 of the Open Meetings Act to consider the reasons establishing or filling a vacancy on the public body information regarding appointment, employment, or dismissal or of an employee or officer, contracts, grievances, negotiations, pending, threatened, or imminent litigation, real estate, student discipline, superintendent and or board evaluation performances. Motion?
I think he's got all of them in there.
Okay, I did. Ms. Brown, second.
Second.
Ms. Dixon. May I have a roll call, John?
Yes, Brown,
Yes.
Dixon, Golar, absent, Kimbrough, Love,
Yes.
Story,
No, yes, I'm sorry.
Harris.
Yes.
Motion carried at 7:19
All right,
p.m.
thank you so much.
Let's get out before 8.
You guys reconvene, did all that?
Yes.
Time, all that? Okay. Roll call, Brown,
Yes.
Dixon,
Yes.
Golar, absent, Kimbrough,
Yes.
Love,
Yes.
Story,
Yes.
Harris.
Yes,
Motion carried at 8:06 p.m.
so, we're approving, letter A, personnel. Personnel items.
Go in the hall, it might be.
Be it hereby moved that the Board of Education approve my bad, which one?
A,
Oh, it's letter A, personnel items, A1, A2, A3. May I have a motion?
so moved.
Moved by Ms. Story, second. Second by Ms. Brown. Roll call, John.
Brown,
Yes.
Dixon,
Yes.
Golar, absent, Kimbrough, Love,
Yes.
Story,
Yes.
Harris.
Yes,
Item A carried.
all right, thank you. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Brown, second. Second by Story. Roll call, John.
Brown,
Yes.
Dixon,
Yes.
Golar, absent, Kimbrough,
Yes.
Love,
Yes.
Story,
Yep.
Harris.
Yes,
Motion carried at 8:07.
all right, thank you.
Wait.